March 8, 1970, Las Vegas, Nevada. The Sands Hotel and Casino, the Copa Room, 11:23 p.m. Dean Martin had just finished his show, standing ovation. 1,300 people on their feet, applauding, cheering, calling for an encore. Dean smiled, waved, thanked them, but he was done for the night, tired, ready to wind down. He walked off stage, through the wings, toward his dressing room, the usual routine, the usual post-show ritual. But something was different tonight. There was a young man waiting in the hallway, maybe 22 years old, jeans, t-shirt, long hair, the look of the new generation, the kids who loved rock and roll, who worshipped Elvis, who thought Dean Martin was old news. Security should have stopped him, should have kept him away from the backstage area, but somehow he'd gotten through. He was standing right outside Dean's dressing room, arms crossed, expression defiant. Dean noticed him, stopped. "You're not supposed to be back here," Dean said. His voice calm but firm. The young man didn't move. "I know," he said, "but I wanted to talk to you." "About what?" Dean asked. The young man looked Dean in the eye. "About the fact that you're overrated," he said. Dean raised an eyebrow. "Is that right?" "Yeah," the young man said. "Everyone acts like you're this big deal, this legend. But you're not. You're just a singer. You sing old songs, for old people, and you think that makes you special." Dean was quiet, listening. The young man continued. "You know who's really special? Elvis Presley. Now that's talent, that's real entertainment. He moves, he connects with people, he's electric. You just stand there, sing your boring songs, tell your old jokes, and people clap because they remember when you used to matter, but you don't matter anymore. Elvis does. Elvis is better than you, in every way." The hallway went silent. A few crew members had stopped, were watching, listening, waiting to see how Dean would respond. Security started moving toward the young man, ready to escort him out, throw him out if necessary, but Dean raised his hand, stopped them. "It's okay," Dean said. "Let him stay." The security guards hesitated, looked at each other, then backed off. Dean turned back to the young man. "What's your name?" "Michael," the young man said, his voice still defiant but slightly uncertain now. "Okay, Michael," Dean said. "You think Elvis is better than me?" "Yeah," Michael said. "I do." Dean nodded. "Have you ever seen Elvis perform? Live?" Michael hesitated. "No, but I've seen videos, recordings." "And?" Dean asked. "And he's incredible," Michael said. "He's everything you're not. Young, energetic, exciting, real." Dean smiled. A small smile, not mocking, just understanding. "You're right," Dean said. Michael blinked. "What?" "You're right," Dean repeated. "Elvis is incredible. He's talented. He's exciting. He connects with people in a way that I don't." Michael looked confused. So you agree? Elvis is better?" Dean was quiet for a moment. Then, "Better is the wrong word," Dean said. "Different is more accurate." Michael frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means," Dean said, "that Elvis and I aren't trying to do the same thing. We're not in competition. We're not fighting for the same audience. We're different. Elvis performs for people like you," Dean continued. "Young people, people who want energy, movement, excitement, something new, something revolutionary. And he's brilliant at it, absolutely brilliant." Michael said nothing, just listened. "I perform for people who want something else," Dean said. "Comfort, familiarity, a song they know, a joke that makes them smile, a reminder of when life was simpler. Different audience, different style, different purpose, but that doesn't make you better," Michael said. "It just makes you different." "Exactly," Dean said. "And that's the point." Michael looked frustrated. "But everyone says you're a legend, that you're one of the greatest. If Elvis is so much more talented, why do people still talk about you?" Dean leaned against the wall, crossed his arms. You want to know the truth? Michael nodded. The truth is, Dean said, I'm not trying to be the best. I never was. I just try to be good at what I do. And what I do is make people feel comfortable, make them smile, give them a break from whatever's weighing on them. That's it. That's all I've ever tried to do. Dean paused. Elvis, he's trying to change the world, trying to create something new, trying to push boundaries, and he's succeeding. He's changing music, changing culture, changing everything, and that's amazing. That's important, but it's not what I do. Michael was quiet now, processing. So you don't care that he's more popular, Dean asked? That he sells more records? That young people like you think he's better? Dean shook his head. Why would I care? He's doing his thing. I'm doing mine. There's room for both. Michael looked down, seemed less sure of himself now. But you're old, he said. Your style is outdated. People are moving on. Dean smiled again. You're probably right. My style probably is outdated. But you know what? There are still people who like it. Still people who come to my shows, who buy my records, who want what I offer. And as long as they're there, I'll keep doing it. Michael didn't respond. Dean pushed off the wall, walked closer to Michael. Let me ask you something, Dean said. Do you love Elvis? Michael nodded. Yeah. Why? Dean asked. Because, Michael started, then stopped. Thought about it. Because when I listen to him, I feel something. I feel alive. I feel like anything's possible. Dean nodded. That's what great entertainment does. It makes you feel something, and if Elvis makes you feel that way, then he's doing his job, and he's doing it well. Michael looked at Dean. But don't you want people to feel that way about you? Some people do, Dean said. Not you, not your generation, but people my age, people who grew up with me, people who want comfort instead of revolution. They feel something when they hear me, and that's enough. Michael was quiet for a long moment. Then, I don't understand you. Dean smiled. You don't have to. You're not my audience, but maybe someday you will be. What do you mean? Dean asked. Right now you want excitement, revolution, change. Elvis gives you that, but one day you'll get tired. You'll want comfort, familiarity, something that reminds you of when life made sense. And when that day comes, maybe you'll understand why people still come to my shows. Michael looked uncertain. I don't think that'll happen. Dean shrugged. Maybe not, but if it does, I'll still be here, or someone like me will be. Because that need, that desire for comfort and familiarity, it doesn't go away. It's just not your need. Yet. The hallway was still silent, the crew members watching, listening, absorbing. Michael looked at Dean. I came here to tell you that you're overrated, that Elvis is better. Dean nodded. And you did. And I told you that you're right. Elvis is incredible, and I'm just different. Michael seemed unsure how to respond. Dean extended his hand. It was nice talking to you, Michael. Michael hesitated, then shook Dean's hand. Yeah, you too. Dean started to walk into his dressing room, then stopped, turned back. Michael, yeah? If you ever get the chance to see Elvis live, Dean said, do it. Don't just watch videos. See him in person. Experience what he does, because it's special, and you should appreciate it while you can. Michael nodded. Okay, I will. Dean smiled. And if you ever want to see what I do, you're welcome at any of my shows. On the house. Michael looked surprised. Really? Really, Dean said. You won't like it. You'll probably think it's boring, but the offer stands. Just in case you're curious. Thank you, Michael said, his voice quieter now, less defiant. Dean nodded, went into his dressing room, closed the door. Michael stood in the hallway for a moment, processing, then walked away. The crew members went back to their work, talking quietly among themselves about what they'd just witnessed, about how Dean had handled it, with grace, with humility, with an understanding that most people never achieve. Years later, 1987, 17 years after that night. Michael, now 39 years old, was at a small club in Los Angeles, listening to music, trying to recapture something, some feeling he used to have, but couldn't find any more. The music was loud, energetic, revolutionary, everything he used to love, but it felt empty now, hollow. He left, walked outside, saw a poster, Dean Martin, performing at the Golden Nugget, Las Vegas, 1 week only. Michael stared at the poster, remembered that night, 17 years ago, when he'd told Dean he was overrated, that Elvis was better, remembered Dean's response, about different audiences, different needs, different purposes, and remembered Dean's words. One day, you'll want comfort, familiarity, something that reminds you of when life made sense. Michael bought a ticket, flew to Vegas, went to Dean's show, sat in the back, watched. Dean was older now, 70 years old. His voice wasn't as strong, his movements slower, but the room was full, packed with people, older people mostly, smiling, laughing, singing along, comfortable. And Michael understood what Dean had been talking about, understood why people still came, not for revolution, not for excitement, but for comfort, for familiarity, for a reminder of when life made sense. After the show, Michael waited, found his way backstage, asked security if he could see Dean. They were going to refuse. But Dean's manager, who'd been there that night in 1970, remembered Michael, remembered the story, and let him through. Michael knocked on Dean's dressing room door. "Come in," Dean said. Michael entered. Dean was sitting in a chair, taking off his stage shoes. He looked up, saw Michael, and smiled. "I remember you," Dean said. Michael was surprised. "You do?" Dean nodded. "March 1970. You told me Elvis was better than me." Michael smiled, embarrassed. "Yeah, I did." "And you were right," Dean said. "He was." "Was?" Michael asked. "Elvis died in 1977, Dean said, his voice quiet, sad. 10 years ago." "I know," Michael said. I heard," Dean nodded. "One of the greatest losses entertainment's ever had." Michael was quiet for a moment. Then, "I came to your show tonight." "I know," Dean said. "I saw you. In the back." Michael sat down, uninvited, but Dean didn't seem to mind. "You were right," Michael said, "about what you said that night, about me wanting comfort one day, about understanding why people come to your shows." Dean smiled. "I'm usually right about that." Michael laughed. A sad laugh. "I spent so many years chasing excitement, revolution, the next big thing, and it was great, for a while. But then life got hard, and I didn't want revolution anymore. I just wanted comfort," Dean finished. "Yeah," Michael said, "comfort." Dean nodded. "That's what I do. That's all I've ever done." "I'm sorry," Michael said, "for what I said that night, for telling you that you were overrated, that Elvis was better." Dean waved his hand, dismissively. "You were 22. You were supposed to think that. And Elvis was better at what he did, at what you needed then, but now you need something different, and here you are." Michael smiled. "Here I am." Dean stood up, walked over to Michael, put his hand on his shoulder. "Thanks for coming tonight." "Thank you for letting me," Michael said. Dean shook his head. "You bought a ticket. You were welcome here." Michael stood, started to leave, then stopped. "Mr. Martin?" "Yeah?" "Do you still think there's room for both?" Michael asked. "For excitement and comfort? For revolution and familiarity?" Dean smiled. "Always. The world needs both. Always will." March 8th, 1970. The night a 22-year-old told Dean Martin that Elvis was better than him. The night Dean agreed and explained why that didn't matter. That night taught Michael something he didn't understand until 17 years later. That greatness isn't about being better than everyone else. It's about being good at what you do, at serving the people who need what you offer, at understanding your purpose and fulfilling it. Elvis was great at revolution, at excitement, at changing the world. Dean was great at comfort, at familiarity, at giving people a break. Both mattered, both had purpose, both served a need, and neither diminished the other. That's what Dean understood, and what Michael learned, that you don't have to be the best, you just have to be good at what you do, for the people who need it. And that's enough. That's more than enough, that's everything.